How you doing, guys? Well, it has been one hell of a weekend for me. And put it this way, if I would have had a Christmas tree to trim, I would have fucking trimmed it. Because it is, I don't know, 11:45 and I'm still here in the shop. And this is the fucking reason I'm in the shop. Okay? Remember in my last couple of videos I said I had an engine light on. When we first tried this thing, security was giving me an issue. And it was locking the truck out and it would not run. Then I changed it back to the regular ECM, which originally came out of the two-wheel drive truck. She fired up and run like a dream. But then I had engine lights come on and codes coming out my ass, and I couldn't figure out what in the hell was going on. And it come up EGR, EGR, EGR all the time. You clear the code, 5 seconds, back on again. What in the fuck is going on? So then I got researching it. Saturday night, I went home and I started researching and started running serial numbers and calling buddies and stuff like that because we just couldn't figure it out. And as soon as we put the original ECM, fire up, quit, fire up, quit, fire up, quit, every time. And stressful, just fucking stressful. So I did some more research, and then Eric came over and told me that the security that are in these trucks have matching serial numbers. 1 minute. Excuse me, guys. I'm just a little out of breath because it's been a very stressful fucking weekend, and I smoked a lot of goddamn cigarettes. Just being pissed off with stress because I hate it when things don't fucking go well for me. It just drives me fucking crazy. But anyways, I did figure it out with hours, figuring out security, with my snap-on scan tool, figuring it out. I finally got it. Found out from 99 to 2002 there was two different engines, okay? One had an EGR valve and the other one didn't. Unfortunately, the 99 had an EGR. So when I switched the regular ECM and the truck started, but all the engine codes come up, EGR. I couldn't figure out why. I clear the codes, and 5 seconds, it would be right back on again. So anyways, I did my research to find out one was EGR'd, the other one was not. The original engine that was in the truck was a non-EGR engine, which is actually a better thing. A lot more horsepower. So anyways, one thing led to another, so I put the regular ECM back into it and watched a video on YouTube how to reset the key and the body control module. Don't watch the videos because they don't fucking work. You're supposed to, what'd the guy say? Turn the ignition key to on, crank the engine, just touch it, do not start, let it sit for 10 minutes. Shut it off. Count 10 seconds, turn it back on, bump the starter, let it sit for another 10 minutes. And repeat 2 more times. I did this. Same thing. Would not start. Fire up, quit. Fire up, quit. Fire up, quit. So I'm starting to get a little frustrated. So anyways, Eric came over and was telling me about these serial numbers and matching and shit like that. So I actually got looking into that. Well, I ended up having to rewire the truck because the steering column, the body control module, I don't know about the cluster, I just changed it to be safe in the ECM. This serial number has to match with that serial number has to match with this one for security, or the truck will not start and run, the anti-theft. So anyways, rip the steering column out, rip the body control module out, change the computer back to the original computer that was in this truck, and now, after hours upon hours of figuring this shit out, I have a truck now that has no engine codes and starts and runs entirely different from when I first did the first fire up, and it kind of ran a little rough. And the reason for that is because the computer that came out of the 99 was searching for an EGR that was not there. So now, watch the tack. Look at that, entirely different. Absolutely perfect. So, therefore, I ended up having to pull all that apart, the whole dashboard. I'm just in the midst of putting it all back together again, changing the steering column out, and away we go. And that's a hell of a job, guys. It took a long time to get it figured out, but now we got it figured out and reprogrammed, and everything is tickety-boo. But that was only part of it. The second nightmare I had was the torsion keys. Like I said that I was putting the 2500 torsion bars in, which was great. They went in, no problem. But here's the problem, was the two sets of keys that I got that they said they would work. I'm telling you right now, don't even try it, because it won't work. The keys that you use off the 15 or the 2500 puts it under way too much tension. You can't even get those torsion keys to come up into the bar. That's how stressed they are. So I thought I was sunk, and I was all pissed off and blah, 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 blah. And Pat was up here and from Bruce County Customs, the guy that's doing my top kick, and we're trying to figure this out. So anyways, one thing led to another. He says, well, I kind of remember a company that had torsion keys that you could clock. So we looked them up on the internet, and sure as shit, we found them, called Suspension Max. And so we started looking into it and watched the YouTube videos. So I said, well, shit, I'm going to call these guys and just see if they're around on a Saturday. So I called. And yeah, they picked up, and I spoke to Larry. And I told Larry exactly what I was doing and what I had done. And he said to me, I know, Sean, exactly what you're doing, and these are the parts you need. I'm going to send you some instructions. This is going to work for you. Great, perfect. And the thing is I like that about a company that's going to take the time and talk to you and ask you what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve. What makes it interesting to me and proves that a company knows what they're doing is he knew exactly what I needed and what I was doing, which is awesome. So anyways, I ordered the parts, and they're on their way up here from Michigan. So I should have them by the 23rd, Larry thought. So Larry, if you're watching, thank you very much. And that is Larry at Suspension Max, and the the parts that I bought are called Max Cam. And check that out on YouTube, guys, because I promised Larry that I would do an installation video on the Max Cams. And my nightmare is going to be soon over. We had this nightmare, then we had the torsion nightmare. And believe me, like I said, if I would have had a Christmas tree to trim, I would have fucking trimmed it. I don't know about the gas part, but we won't even go there, because I can honestly relate. So anyways, that's my weekend. An entire fucking weekend trying to correct nightmares that I never ever would have thought. That has to match with this. This has to match with that. I don't know about the cluster. I just changed it because I was done fighting with it. And every time, like with the old stuff, you fire it up and you get engine codes, and I did not realize, I thought the 4.8 was a 4.8, but there's two different 4.8s. One's EGR'd and the other one's not. So that was causing me a lot of grief, because the problem is, yeah, it started and ran, but being that there was an engine light on, it would never have passed emissions up here. Therefore, I would never have been able to license the vehicle. So, a lot of hours spent this weekend trying to figure shit out. Me, Darcy, and Pat, we win, it loses. So we are just about ready to go. Either than the Max Cams and Suspension Max, and that's going to be pretty awesome. I'm looking very forward to getting this thing out and on the road. So either now we've got that installation to do, and that will be part 15. We're gonna have to go to 16 parts here, guys. I'll be doing the reveal in part 16. I'm not going to show you the truck. I have spent numerous of hours last week cleaning, fixing, yet there was no marks on this body whatsoever. but it's just the way that I am. I put a nice little dress-up kit on it. I polished it. I spent hours buffing this thing and polishing the aluminum box. I will show you this. I won't show you the sides of the truck yet, but I did buy that with a back rack. So I have to polish that yet. I haven't got it done, but it's coming. But yeah, the only thing I have to do to that yet is just basically bolt it down, but I had to build my own brackets. So anyways, that's one part of it, but yeah, we are getting there. But there was a lot of cluster shit that was going on that was starting to get really, really frustrating. Just, I did not realize, and then when I found out, there was like 48 serial numbers in a truck when it's built. And they all have to, not so much the body serial numbers, but all the computer stuff has to match. Or you're going to run into a lockout problem if you're building a truck like this. So if you're building a truck, guys, the truck that you guys tear apart originally like I did, make sure you keep the steering column, the body control, and the original ECU. Because if you don't, you're going to spend a lot of money at GM to get your computer reflashed. And I don't want to go down that road. And I've had a couple questions on how are you going to get the ownership and all of this changed. Well, I actually called the Ministry of Transportation and told them what I had done. And it's not actually a big deal. There's two different styles of trucks, okay? There's one what they call a branded truck, which is a truck that has been smashed up, okay, that does not have a clean title, okay, or there is a rebuilt truck that has a clean title, but a built truck. And so this would be classified as a built truck with no accidents, because both of them have clean titles. So what I have to do is I have to take both the ownerships in, and because I got a GM chassis with a Chevy body, now they have to put those two together and make a built truck, which will come out as Chevrolet 2002. So there's an affidavit and stuff that we have to do. There's a little bit of paperwork that's involved, but at least it's legal, not illegal. So that's going to happen. But other than getting the max cams in and taking it over to my buddy's shop to get her lined up, and yeah, then part 16 will be after Christmas, and we'll be going for the first ride. But other than that, that's what I'm up to, guys. My nightmare is finally over. All of that, to spend hours trying to figure out what, like I said, guys, it was a lot of work, but a lot of hours spent trying to figure this stuff out. But like I said, all of this here has to match, or security locks it out and you will not start, and that's the end of it. You just start, quit, start, quit, start, quit every time. And you can watch those reset videos on YouTube. I'm telling you now, don't even waste your time. I wasted my time. I wasted almost an hour and a half, because it takes 30 minutes to do one cycle. And I thought I did the first one wrong, so I tried the second time. Thought maybe I did it wrong the second time. Disconnected the battery, tried it again. Still, no dice. And then I find out the serial numbers have to match, or security will lock it out. The computer will not redo itself unless it has matching serial numbers. If it doesn't have matching serial numbers, it's either you go to GM or you match the serial numbers. And unfortunately, two mechanics, Darcy and Pat, we figured it out. Like I said, I don't know a lot about this stuff, guys. I'm just a stupid marine mechanic, but I've been learning a lot in the last few days. And it gets really, really frustrating. All of that for hours upon hours of work. But it's done, and it runs. So, and no engine codes. No engine codes. That's what I like. The only light that's on is the ABS, and I couldn't care less about the ABS module. I hate ABS brakes to begin with. When you're pulling a trailer, I actually kind of find it dangerous, especially if you get on slippery roads and you got tires that start to pulse one side to the other and it throws the trailer sideways. I just take the fucking fuse out and forget ABS. I can live with the ABS light on. Just engine light, no. That just drives me crazy. There's just something wrong. So, anyways, guys, if you like this video, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And we will be back in part 15 with Suspension Max and the Max Cams. Thanks, Larry. Cheers. Take care.